You first notice the painting because of how long you have been standing in front of it, and because the longer you stand, the less certain you feel that you are the one observing. The gallery is calm in the late afternoon, footsteps softened by carpet and distance, voices drifting faintly from other rooms. There are larger works nearby, brighter ones filled with battle and myth, painted storms frozen mid-collapse, yet you remain here, before a portrait that appears almost modest by comparison. The man in the painting sits in a high-backed chair, dressed in clothing that belonged to a century that no longer exists. His hands rest in his lap with practiced stillness. His expression holds the kind of composure that looks like dignity until you stare long enough to recognize it as endurance. It is the eyes that keep you. They are not painted eyes. They are patient. They do not accuse you. They wait for you, as if your presence is a continuation of something that has happened countless times before. The plaque beneath the frame gives his name and the year of completion. 500 years ago, commissioned by a wealthy patron who wished to secure his memory against time, as though time were an intruder that could be locked out with enough wealth and varnish. You return the next day, and the day after that, because the painting has followed you home in a way you cannot explain. You find yourself thinking of that gaze while washing dishes, while staring out of windows, while speaking to people who cannot hold your attention for more than a few minutes. You begin to understand, reluctantly, that the portrait is not simply beautiful, it is demanding. On the fourth visit, you remain after closing. You slip behind a column while the attendant locks the doors and dims the lights. When the gallery empties, the air seems to thicken as if the paintings have been waiting for silence to become complete. You stand before him again, alone with the frame and your own breath. A voice enters your mind with startling clarity, and you realize immediately it is not imagination, because it carries the texture of long deprivation. "I wish to be remembered," he says. You do not move. You do not even feel fear at first. You feel, instead, the slow dread of being correct about something you hoped was impossible. "I did not ask to be immortal," the voice continues. "I ask to remain." He tells you what happened without dramatics. His body aged and died as bodies do. His friends mourned and were forgotten. The house he built collapsed. Names changed, borders moved. The world continued its careless transformation. But the portrait remained, and the consciousness within it did not fade. The painter, whether by intention or accident, bound him into permanence with exquisite skill. He has watched 5 centuries from beneath the linen and varnish. He has witnessed wars described in whispers beneath him, lovers quarreling and reconciling in front of him, children staring at him until they grew bored and ran away, only to return decades later with grey hair and quieter eyes. He has seen everything, he tells you, and the tone he uses is not pride, it is fatigue. "I have watched the world refine itself and repeat itself," he says. "I have watched cruelty acquire manners. I have watched desire pretend to be virtue. I have watched your kind make the same mistakes with different clothing. He pauses, and you feel the pause like pressure in your own chest. And I have not felt rain in 500 years. That is the line that breaks something in you. Not war, not centuries, rain. The simplest proof that you are not merely witnessing life, but participating in it. He tells you he can step out, but only if you step in. He offers you the bargain without flattery. In the painting, you would not age, not sicken, not decay. You would endure while history passed in front of you like theatre. You would never again fear being forgotten. But you would never again touch anything. You would watch love without warmth. You would see joy without vibration. You would witness grief without being able to reach out. You would be remembered, but you would not live. You understand then that his wish did not grant him immortality. It granted him suspension. He did not escape death. He escaped participation. He became permanent at the cost of being present. You step back, and you feel your heart beat loudly in the quiet gallery, a crude insistence that you are alive now, temporarily, and therefore unbearably precious. I choose to fade, you whisper. His gaze softens in a way that almost resembles mercy. Then you choose correctly, he replies. When you leave the gallery, the night air outside feels astonishing. The cold bites, the streetlights flicker, a car passes with imperfect noise. You stand there breathing as though you have been returned to your own body. You are not preserved. You are not permanent. You will not be remembered by everyone, but you will participate. And you realize, with a heaviness that becomes strangely comforting, that participation is the only form of eternity that has ever mattered.